Alrighty, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video, and today we finna react to playoff droppers versus playoff risers. Oh boy! So when we talk about playoff droppers, we talk about like James Harden, Chris Paul. Trying to think who else. Paul George. I can't really think of any more playoff droppers. Can't think of any more. But anyways, though, without further ado,
NBA fans exaggerate a lot of things, okay? The playoffs is not one of them. The playoffs is where we find out whether you're a man or a boy, whether you're a hooper or a scrub, a real nigga or a bitch. There's usually only good competition in front of you. No more feeding on tanking teams and padding your stats against rebuilding rosters. No more lazy closeouts and half-fast shot contests. This is real hoops, and some players just aren't built for real hoops.
I forgot about
you have a flaw in your game, it will be hoped and prodded at until it's fully exposed for the world to see. Jaden McDaniels called the Nuggets a team full of bad defenders and then put on a show demonstrating why he was exactly correct. Reed Shepherd got hunted against LA. Jalen Durant actually had piss running down his leg the entire postseason, but he had Cade out there looking crazy, bruh. The term playoff dropper is slightly misunderstood and maybe a bit overused. For a while I didn't like it in general, but I don't think it's necessarily stupid unless you use it in a stupid way. I think a lot of people assume that if your counts and stats go down in the playoffs, you're automatically a playoff dropper, and if they go up, you're automatically a playoff riser, but it's not that simple. Karl Anthony Towns this season is a perfect example of that. He averaged 20 and 11 in the regular season, and now he's averaging 17 and 10, yet he's literally playing some of the best basketball of his career. His efficiency has shot up, he's suddenly a genuinely great defender, and his playmaking and the spacing his three-point shooting provides has been at the core of the Knicks' insane offensive run these playoffs. Then you have players who aren't necessarily playing better, they're just getting way more minutes. Terrence Shannon isn't necessarily a playoff riser because he went from averaging 5 to averaging 12 these playoffs. He just went from playing 12 minutes a game to playing 22. His efficiency got significantly worse too with his increased role, and it's clear that this isn't really a situation where a player is actually elevating his level of play for real.
But he's getting the experience though, and that's all that matters. That helps him improve though. You're not gonna get it right the first time. You're never gonna get it right the first time. You gotta crawl before you can walk, man. You gotta crawl before you ball, man. That's how it works. So giving him the experience alone will help him get better, because now that he had a taste of it, now he can work on the things that's gonna give him the tools to help extend his game and make it better. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't necessarily say that's a bad thing that he was inefficient with more minutes. He never got the opportunity throughout the regular season to really showcase or get enough experience under his belt to really learn how to play.
Playoff droppers are more than just players with...
I forgot about Julius Randle.
Your numbers are almost guaranteed to dip from the regular season when you're only playing against good teams who are also playing harder and focusing on the best possible way to neutralize you over a 7-game stretch. If you want to define a playoff dropper as anyone playing slightly worse than regular season, then fine. That's dumb, but fine. In that case, almost everyone is a playoff dropper and the conversation is pointless. That's not the definition we're going by. It's not fair to expect players to play the exact way they play against tanking teams against contenders. Extreme efficiency drops, turnover jumps, impact disappearing, which is the most major factor, by the way, getting exposed heavily on defense to the point that it outweighs your offensive impact, and being unable to get your game off at anywhere near the same level you could in the regular season. Those are the true indicators of a playoff dropper. Obviously, a playoff riser would be the opposite. Now, how long do you have to overperform or underperform to be considered a riser or a dropper? 1 year isn't too bad. Shit happens, like playing through injuries or a particularly bad matchup or cold streak. 2 years, Might be a coincidence, but you're definitely getting put on fraud watch. Anything more than 3 years without enough good playoff performances to counter it, you're a playoff dropper, buddy. So who is a riser and who's a dropper? LeBron is one of the most obvious risers ever, at least from around when he went back to Cleveland. I don't think we need to go over the numbers with him. The whole second Cleveland stint used to chill the entire regular season, then go bonkers starting in April. Shit became the norm for him. Kawhi is also another obvious riser. He has enough years where he easily outperformed his regular season.
Absolutely, yeah. Kawhi is up there.
Himself and entered another level in big moments. MJ, another obvious riser, probably one of the ultimate risers, to be honest. The guy already averaged 30 on 57% true shooting in his regular season career, and somehow he managed to elevate that and average over 33 on 57% true shooting in the playoffs. Averaged 30 in every single playoff run besides his first one, and averaged 35 in 5 of them. 8 50-point games. We don't even need to get into the underlying metrics or the clutch stats for him. True risers, though, like consistently, those are rare. Jalen Brunson absolutely is one of them, dating all the way back to his time in Dallas. 2022, he jumped.
Well, he just won the ring, so he just won the ring. So yeah, it's safe to say that Jalen Brunson is a playoff riser.
From averaging 16 and 21 during the Mavericks conference finals run, including 3 30-point games in the first round against Utah, where he dropped 41 and 31 with Luka out and the Mavs in danger after losing game 1. Obviously, his numbers dipped when Luka came back, but in that crazy second round against Phoenix, he was crucial in that comeback, averaging 22 on 49% from the field. After
Dallas really let him go, though.
For 5 straight playoffs.
Hey, Dallas, y'all could have had y'all another ring, bro. Y'all really let this man go, then you traded away Luka. Y'all could have won a ring in 2024, bro. But damn.
New York! Hot Hot! It's that time, motherfuckers! These niggas don't run like us! All praises, all burners, all raises. Hand down, nigga, the game is all jaders. Anything drop, I cop in all flavors. He's a dick, you pussy, y'all neighbors. Hold on.
But anyway, so.
Now his scoring numbers have jumped come playoff time, and not just slightly either. 2023 he jumped from 24 to 27.8. 2024 he jumped from 28.7 to 32.4. Last year he jumped from 26 to 29.4. Obviously the efficiency dipped slightly every time, which, like we said earlier, is normal for the playoffs against tougher defenses, but they never reached poor shooting levels. His worst run shooting wise was 24 when he shot 44%, and he's consistently around 46 to 47, which is crazy in the playoffs as a tiny guard who does a lot of his work inside. He's only dipped below 55% true shooting in one run. When you add the context of his supporting cast in 23 and 24, especially 24 when he literally went into the conference semis with Dante DiVincenzo as his second option, it's surprising that his efficiency didn't get any lower. With his size, he shouldn't be that good in the postseason, but instead of getting swallowed up by more physical and aggressive playoff defense, he embraces it using his stocky frame and dances through it with ridiculous footwork and balance inside the arc. The guy shows up on Jordan and Kobe and Curry lists every May. He has the most fourth quarter playoff points since 2021. He's the best playoff riser of our current generation and one of the most clutch players ever, bruh. Some would counter that with Jimmy Butler, and to be fair, he does have some nutty playoff runs. That's a very fair pick. Those two Heat teams that made the finals had absolutely no business being there, let's be real. The 2020 run, he jumped from 19.9 to 22.2, but the more impressive thing was that he became more efficient from both the field and from deep. Some of those finals performances against LA too, where he gave everything to will that mid-Heat squad to wins, it was honorable. In 2022, he jumped from 21.4 to 27.4, and once again, his efficiency shot up. Both that year and 2020, his three-point percentage shot up by 10% in the playoffs. He was genuinely losing it that year, 45 and 36 against Atlanta, 33, 40 and 32 against Philly, 41, 47 and 35 against Boston. That dumbass shot he took in Game 7 stained one of the most insane playoff runs ever. Then 2023, he ran it back again, jumped from 22.9 to 26.9 without a crazy effect.
We ain't gotta show that. We ain't gotta show this, bro. We get it.
long career with a few insane
You got to show that. Don't remind me of 2023.
2022 and 2023 wasn't going on at all. Other than those two, I'd only put Luka near their level as playoff risers in terms of the 2020s. His rep is taking a hit the last year or two because of all the defense talk, and last year's disaster against Minnesota combined with missing this year's playoffs has made a lot of people forget, but we know what we was watching. That 24 run was special and all, but that 2022 one was nasty too. And I know it was just one series, but he lost his mind in those 7 games against the Clippers in 21. Like I said, there's only a very, very small percentage of players who consistently get better in the playoffs. It's so rare, and that's why you have a lot of guys who are kind of like fringe playoff risers. They had a lot of crazy runs and get better in the postseason like half the time, but it's not.
So you saying that Chris Middleton is not a playoff riser? So you saying Chris Middleton is not a playoff riser? Did you forget what he did in 2021? Did you forget that Eastern Conference Finals when we lost Giannis? And he put the team on his back and carried us to the championship. Him and Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez carried us to the finals. Man, don't disrespect Chris Middleton like that. Now listen, I get it. Today's time, yeah, Chris Middleton is, yeah. I can't even deny it, bro.
You used to have it, fuck nigga. You used to be something. That nigga moment over.
But don't get it twisted though. He was a playoff riser, bro. He showed up with it better, bro. When Giannis wasn't playing as good, he stepped up, bro.
Almost every single season. Either that or they used to be playoff risers, but they really can't be called that anymore. Jamal Murray is the prime example. He went insane in the bubble, jumped from 18.5 a game to 26.5 a game, while his shooting splits jumped from 45, 34, 88 to 50, 45, 89. Absolutely bonkers. Then he tore his ACL, came back for the 22-23 season, and had another crazy run the year the Nuggets won the chip. Jumped from 28 games to 26 on better efficiency, torched LA in the conference finals sweep with 3 straight 30-point games, including back-to-back 37-point games, had a 34-point triple-double in the finals. He looked stamped as a playoff riser, but since then he's had 3 straight bad playoff runs, including this year when he stunk it up badly against Minnesota. There's guys that have put up crazy playoff numbers scoring-wise at times, so it gives the perception that they're risers like Donovan Mitchell. But with him, he's in that odd place where scoring is all he can really give you. And on both the Jazz and the Cavs,
his teammates don't never come through for him. That's the problem. Donovan Mitchell just has a bad history of bad teammates. If he had the right running mate behind him, trust me, you would look at Donovan Mitchell in a different light, bro. He just really need a second guy, bro. That's all it is. Donovan Mitchell just need a second guy behind him, bro. Just one. One good running mate, I guarantee you Donovan Mitchell can make it to the finals.
Been just as detrimental at times as he has been beneficial, especially when you factor in defense and playmaking. There's plenty of role players or bench players that are risers, partially because teams are more focused on the superstars come playoff time, and it creates opportunities for them to step up, and partially because they didn't play as much during the regular season, so there's less mileage on their legs. This was the Spurs method when it came to Manu Ginobili. Everybody always asked why he came off the bench, and part of the reason was because both him and Tony were ball dominant. Another part of the reason was that it gave the Spurs a demonic second unit, but another big part of it was that Ginobili was a very explosive and reckless player.
Ginobili was a motherfucking monster, bro. Ginobili was a motherfucking monster, bro. Kobe loved this nigga, man. Say what you want, Kobe loved that nigga, man. You could tell, bro. You could tell every time Ginobili was brought up to Kobe, he would smile like, that's a killer. Killers recognize killers, man. And Ginobili was one of them, dog.
He played in 2-time speed, as people like to say. The Spurs coaches and assistants back then said he's just not built for starter minutes. I think the quote from one of them was that if the NBA was 35 games like college, he'd be top 10 ever or something like that. Yeah. That's why in the regular season, he only played 30 minutes a game twice in his career, but in the playoffs, he played over 30 minutes a game 6 times. It wasn't just the increased minutes, though. Don't get it twisted. He was genuinely better in the playoffs, too. His aggressive and physical and energetic style of play was perfectly suited for playoff basketball. He had numerous runs where he elevated elevated his level of play. 2005 was an all-time great playoff jump.
Bruh,
His points jumped from 16 to 20.8, and so did his efficiency.
2005, bruh. Manu Ginobili was the best fucking player on the planet. I don't care what anybody say. That nigga Ginobili is fucking goated, bruh. I don't give a fuck. 2005, Manu Ginobili was the best player on the fucking planet, bruh. You couldn't tell me nothing about Ginobili. That nigga was the greatest player on the planet, bruh. What we talking about? If y'all don't know, y'all youngers need to do y'all research.
From 47-37-80 to 50-43-80. In the finals against Detroit, he was the X factor. Some people still argue he should have won Finals MVP.
He should have.
26 and 27 in the first two games, 21-9 and 10 in Game 6 before that crucial Game 7 where he had 23. Plus minus isn't everything, of course, but it does say a lot that Duncan was -8 and Ginobili was +28. Not taking anything away from Duncan, especially with how important his defense was, but he had a few inefficient games, especially Game 7 where he shot 37%. Manu, meanwhile, was running that offense. 2004, 2005, 2006, arguably 2010 were all years he was better in the playoffs, and that was just the first half of his career before the Spurs' resurgence in the early 2010s. Even in the 2007 championship run, he had a few bad games early in the playoffs, which is why it looks really bad that he shot 40% that postseason. But after Phoenix tied the series 2-2 in the conference semis, it's like he flipped a switch. 3 straight double-doubles after, scoring 26, 33, and 23 in those games. Shot 45% from the field and 45% from 3 from that point on the rest of the playoffs too. And he had a 27-point closeout game to help sweep young LeBron in the finals. In 2011, a year he averaged 17, was the Spurs' best player and 8th in MVP voting. He broke his arm on the last day of the regular season, but after the Spurs lost Game 1 against the Grizzlies, he said, nah, fuck that. Played with the broken arm in the first round and averaged 20 with 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2.6 steals. The Spurs lost in 6, but it was a courageous effort, especially because they lost 2 games by 3 points. Manu got older and declined, of course. He had a bad 2013 playoff run, but that 2014 run was an incredible last hurrah for a genuinely great playoff performer.
It was.
At this point, he's 36, averaging 12, 3, and 4 on good shooting splits. Then, in the playoffs that year, he shoots 39% from 3 and averages over 14 a game. Multiple heroic performances, 3 20-point games in the 7-game war against Dallas in the first round, including the Game 7 where he dropped 20 and has 6 steals. In the finals, he had that 16-point, 11-assist Game 1, and of course, that Game 5 closeout where the Spurs were down 22-6 and he came in and completely flipped the game on his head on his own. He had the highest plus-minus of any Spurs player in that finals when he was literally supposed to be washed by then. It was the perfect summary of his San Antonio career. That's who he'd always been, Mr. Reliable. Some players are just better suited for the playoffs. High energy, chaos creators that play physical basketball.
I don't know about
mid-range
Draymond.
shooters all of a sudden become more important as the paint clogs up and players are driven away from the three-point line too. Elite playmakers that can settle an offense and facilitate instead of forcing shots.
I don't know about Draymond. He cost him that 2016 championship. I don't know.
Against aggressive defenses. Niggas don't like Draymond, but he's a stamp playoff riser because he was an elite playmaker that was also one of the best and most physical defenders in the league. He doesn't get much better than that in playoff basketball, which is why his numbers went up in the playoffs almost every year during his prime, and his impact definitely increased almost every year as well. Rondo was a prime example of that too. He was absolutely a riser.
Oh yeah, Rondo was a problem.
Later on in LA when he helped Braun get his 4th chip. Everybody knows he was a core part of that 2008 ring, but the years after, he pretty much ran the Celtics in the postseason. Going into the 2009 playoffs, he'd had a solid year, averaging like 12 with 8 assists. Then in the first round against Chicago, he just started tweaking out of nowhere. A guy almost averaged a 19-point triple-double, had 2 triple-doubles that series. He averaged 11 assists. It was crazy. That whole series was insane hoops. He regularly rose in the playoffs every year of his Celtics career. It's kind of funny. For a player who has as many ridiculous playoff performances as him, he doesn't get brought up amongst the best playoff risers as much as he probably should. He went toe-to-toe with LeBron on numerous occasions and got the better of him a few times too. At Game 4 in like 2010, I think it was, where he had 29, 18 rebounds and 13 assists was ludicrous. I'm pretty sure it was 2012 where he dropped 44, 8, and 10 on Miami in the conference finals and dragged that dead Celtics.
Yeah, Rondo was going crazy in that series.
KG, Paul, and Ray were done, bro. That series was all Rondo. He averaged 21, 7, and 11 with 2 steals a game on 48% shooting. This is a guy that averaged 11, 4, and 11 that regular season. It's actually insane. Anyways, cold streaks from three-point shooters are much more significant in the playoffs too, and suddenly players that get to their spots inside the arc and hit those tough buckets when teams desperately need points are so much more valuable. Look at the Celtics last year against the Knicks, bro. Checking up all those threes and bricking killed them in both of those insane Knicks comebacks, while Brunson and McCall walking them down with some ridiculous mid-range shots saved their season. As a third or fourth option, a player that can create their own shot is infinitely more valuable in the playoffs than a spot-up shooter. Look what happened to the Rockets too, multiple times in the playoffs, like those miserable 27 straight missed threes. The Bucks lost to Toronto in 2019 because the Raptors clogged the paint and the Bucks went ice cold the whole series when all they had was Giannis drive into a wall and kick out hoops. Variance is key come playoff time, and certain archetypes go from allegedly outdated to suddenly the most important players on the court. Counters are more important in the playoffs because whatever your strength is, teams focus on shutting that down. The playoffs are about having counters to your opponent's counters. If you're not versatile enough, then it's raps. Versatility is also why DeMar DeRozan is such a consistently ass playoff performer. All he knows is ISO middies. Nobody's scared of his three-point shot, so if you stick a big body on him, get up in his grill and that mid-range not falling, he's cooked. And he was consistently cooked year after year with Toronto. The numbers don't even do it justice. His averages and efficiency would dip a bit, but it was more of a you had to be there thing, bruh. Niggas was walking right past him on the defensive end, then he dribbled up the court and brick an 18-foot fadeaway. Shit was dark, bro. I know Kawhi felt like a shot of Hennessy on a Friday night after work to Raptors fans. To this day, DeMar has the worst plus-minus in playoff history with minus 373. The second worst isn't even remotely close. It's Melo at minus 288, by the way, but chill, that's my goal. And it wasn't a team thing with the Raptors either. Kyle Lowry's playoff plus-minus from 2013 to 2018 was minus 48. I'm gonna have to double-check that. I'm gonna let y'all know if I'm right.
The treacherous twins of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. Before Kawhi, Kyle Lowry was terrible. I remember one series where he went to the locker room just at random, wasn't injured or nothing. He just subbed himself out the game and walked to the bench, then came back out like nothing happened. And everybody was looking at him like, what the fuck? They got on his ass for that, bro. Kyle Lowry was terrible. Their mental health was terrible, bro. I know everybody gonna be like, oh, it was mental health, bro. You can't be like that, bro. Nah. Oh, hell no. It's the playoffs, bro. Fuck your mental health. You either here or you not. Don't show up if you not gonna put in the work, bro. Acting like a little bitch.
My pussy hurt.
Come on, bro. Don't do that. You either here or not. It's that simple. If you're not gonna be here, don't waste our time. Go sit at home. We'll holla at you when we holla at you, B. And that's why when they got Kawhi, everybody stepped up. They got rid of DeMar, traded him for Kawhi. Kyle Lowry had one of his best playoff runs. It took Kawhi to unlock him. That's crazy.
In that same time span, DeMar's was minus 275. Genuinely concerning, bro. He had plenty of nightmare performances, many of them against you-know-who from Cleveland. The worst was that night he shot, I think it was like 3 for 12, and then he benched him the whole fourth quarter in the conference semis. This was in like 2018 during the second straight LeBron sweep. The star player benched the whole fourth, bro. Yikes.
And you know,
Julius Randle has more than enough evidence come out at this point to say he's a dropper. He's been straight up bad, bro. In 3 or 4 playoff appearances, including his first one where he shot 29% from the field. He had almost 5 turnovers a game in the Knicks' embarrassing loss to the Hawks in 5 games. 6 for 23 in game 1 and 2 for 15 in game 3, by the way. He followed that up a couple years later, shooting 37% from the field and 25% from 3 over 2 series in 2023. Now, to be fair, he was playing through an ankle injury. That didn't make that 3 for 14 in the elimination game while Brunson dropped 41 any easier to stomach for me. Last year was the only year he was good in the playoffs during the Timberwolves conference finals run, but this year he returned to the norm and shot 39% from the field and 24% from three in the playoffs. The 25 playoffs almost saved his postseason rep, but if you remove that one outlier year, over 3 postseasons, his points per game drops from around 23 in the regular season to 16.8. His field goal percentage drops from around 46 in the regular season to 36%, and his three-point percentage drops from around 35 to 27%. Yuck. People try to use the excuse that he was getting a bunch of attention in 2021 due to his terrible supporting cast, but we watched that series, bro. He was breaking shots he made all year, started forcing shit when nothing was falling, and ended up looking goofier. Defending shooting under 30% from the field because of a regular amount of attention for a star player is crazy. Every ISO step back mid-range brick was like a shotgun blast to the chest. D'Angelo Russell is a nasty playoff dropper. He's never been the most efficient guy around, but it gets ugly around postseason time. He's a career 42 or 43% shooter or something. In 4 different playoff runs, he's only shot above 40% one time. 22 with Minnesota was particularly bad. He shot 33%. He went from averaging almost 19 to 12. His next 2 playoff runs with LA were sad. Not only did his average and efficiency dip, he had that disgusting conference finals against Denver in 2023 where he only scored 10 points once and mustered up a whopping 3 and 4 points in game 3 and 4 as LA got swept.
Yeah.
The overall stats don't do it justice, man. He was feeding on the
D'Angelo Russell was terrible.
Jalen Durant only has 2 years to go off of, but just off of this year alone, he's on dropper watch because this shit was terrible. Going from a force of a big man to a literal bitch who looks like he has no clue what he's doing on the basketball court is insane. I don't care that it's only for regular season, man. That humiliation ritual should have disqualified him from all NBA. Going from 20-10 to 10-8 while getting dominated and emasculated by your ex's new nigga is the funniest way to fumble a max contract. He had the worst field goal percentage in the paint this postseason with a miserable 18%. He should be ashamed of himself, bro. You too damn big for all that. Austin Reeves gets dropper allegations. He was great his first playoff run when the Lakers made that conference finals. He was even pretty good when they got swept by the Nuggets. Wasn't terrible when the Nuggets beat them up in the first round next year either. The dropper allegations came from the last 2 seasons as his expectations rose.
I mean, it's fucking Austin Rivers. What you expect?
Boo this man!
Fucking Austin Rivers. Been trash. I've been trying to tell y'all this nigga trash, but everybody want to dick ride this nigga for some odd reason. Nigga been trash. I don't know what y'all niggas see in Austin Reeves, bro. I said Austin Rivers, and I ain't mean to disrespect Austin Rivers. But Austin Reeves, I never understood what y'all saw in this nigga, bro. But I digress.
Which makes sense because that means more defensive attention. His efficiency started dipping, his points started dipping, but there's also been injury questions both years, so I think it's unfair to throw him in the category. Hell no! Next year is the make or break. There's actually quite a few players that are in that weird area where they've had a few bad playoff runs, but they've had some solid or good ones sprinkled in there, so you can't really
J. Cole
droppers because, let's be honest, true droppers who are almost never good come playoff time are really rare. 90% of stars are stars for a reason. Being an actual real deal consistent dropper takes a different level of bitch made. Dame is one of those guys that gets called a playoff riser by people who casually watch the sport because they remember the shot against OKC, and they remember Rivers thinking, God, he missed a shot, but he has his fair share of really bad playoff runs. 2018 was a travesty. He got swept by the Pelicans in the first round, shooting 35% from the field, averaging 18 after being 4th in MVP.
Got clamped up by Drew.
2019, he got to go up against the crippled Warriors in the conference finals and finally had the chance to exercise his Golden State Demons just to get cleaned up again in 4, shooting.
Bro, who in their right mind thought he was going to beat the 2019 Monstars Golden State Warriors? Klay Thompson's still in his prime. Draymond Green's still in his prime. They got DeMarcus Cousins pretty much in the cut, and Steph was pretty much carrying the team because KD was out with that calf injury before he tore his Achilles. Bruh, ain't nobody think Dame was gonna win that series, bruh. Come on, bruh. Like, this is a bad matchup right here. He was going down regardless, bro. He was all they had. He was all the Trailblazers had, bro.
37%, only hitting more than 6 shots one time. I can give him a pass that year, though. I think he was playing injured and his ribs were fucked up or something. He's a career 40% shooter in the playoffs with high highs and low lows. He's not really an egregious dropper, but he's definitely not a riser either. James Harden is a really interesting one, though. This year has put yet another big stain on his playoff reputation after a conference finals where he had...
James Harden is fucking terrible, and I just heard he got arrested for having assault rifles. How you getting arrested for having assault rifle, boy? Going outside, ain't he? This nigga hanging around the rappers too much. Now he think he won. Nigga want to pop guns. You need to be in the gym. The only thing you need to be shooting is a basketball, nigga. You was terrible. You was terrible this postseason, bruh. You was terrible. And you want to and you want to go out and shoot some guns, nigga. You need to be shooting the ball, nigga. Get in the fucking lab, bruh. Work on your game, nigga. Work on your defense, nigga. Work on not turning the ball over 8-9 fucking times, nigga. You hold the playoff record for most turnovers in a fucking game. You should be ashamed of yourself, bruh. If you knew better, you do better, nigga.
12 assists and 17 turnovers, shot 17% from 3 and 38% from the field while being a genuine cone on defense and actively costing the Cavs game 1. The thing with Harden is, though, he hasn't been this consistently horrible playoff performer when we look at overall playoff runs. It's just that when his back's against the wall and his team is on the verge of being eliminated, he completely crumbles every single time without fail. Well, maybe not every single time, but most of the time. 2015 Game 5 of the conference finals against the Warriors, he shot 2 for 11 from the field with 12 turnovers, and the Rockets got bounced. It's still the record for most turnovers in a playoff game. 2017 Game 6 against the Spurs was pathetic. He shot 2 for 11 again and looked like he wasn't even trying. 2018 was the infamous Game 7 where the Rockets missed 27 straight threes. Harden himself missed 11 and was 2 for 13 overall from deep. 2019, they got eliminated by the Warriors again, but he wasn't that bad. He dropped 35, and Curry going bonkers in the second half was the reason they went home. After leaving the Rockets, though, shit gets really dark. The next series against the Bucks, I'm gonna let him rock because of the hamstring problems, but that shit was horrific. Then he goes to Philly. In 22, he puts up 11 points in Game 6 of the conference semis as the Sixers get bounced by the Heat. The next year, in the 2 games, they should have closed out Boston in the conference semis. He shot 4 for 16 and 3 for 11, and they blew the 3-2 lead and got sent packing. In the first round elimination games he played for the Clippers the next 2 seasons, he was gross. 2024, he shot 5 for 16 in Game 6. Mind you, that was 1 game after he put up 7 points on 2 for 12 shooting in Game 5. 16% from the field in a crucial game with the series 2-2. The next year, he has 7 points on 2 for 8 shooting in Game 7 against Denver in the first round. Nasty, nasty work. This year, I mean, we just witnessed it. Even the Game 7 against the Pistons that they won comfortably, he was 2 for 10 with 9 points. Against us on Monday, he was 2 for 8 with 12 points. It's genuinely pathetic how he just forgets how to play basketball the second the pressure is on, and it's gotten progressively worse as he ages. He's in his own special category of playoff dropper, where dropper isn't really the right word. He'll play well for a lot of the playoffs, but put him in a high leverage situation, series tied 2-2 on the road, down 3-2, need to win to survive. A lot of the time, he's not showing up. He gets really passive at times. It's so weird. I guess when people say choker instead of dropper, it's more accurate. We obviously haven't been able to go through everybody. There's more than a few other examples for both categories, but I don't want to keep chatting forever, so throw them in the comments. I'm trying to hear a few underrated ones too, like Lou Will. He had a few stinkers. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Alrighty, man. That's just gonna about do it for this one, man. Most definitely, man. Out all these, bro, where is Paul George at? We need Paul George on here. We need ball game. Where is that nigga at? That nigga need to definitely be on here, bro. That nigga is terrible. That nigga is fucking terrible, bro. Where is that at? Get him the fuck out of here.
You used to have it, fuck nigga. You used to be something. That nigga moment over.
Yeah. So just saying, bro. That nigga used to be something, man. Then he broke his leg and lost his mind. Talk about some I need that ball at the end of the game. Then he got the game. Then he got the ball at the end of the game. And what did he do?
Thrown off the court, but they do lose possession there. Jermaine Cole outside for 3 points. And
Come on, dog. Fuck out of here, man. But anyway, so let's just go about doing it for this one, man. Most definitely, man. There's some playoff rises, but there's definitely some playoff droppers, bro. And to them playoff droppers, I got one thing to leave you before we get on up out of here.
You light my fire.
Get this sorry ass nigga out of here! You suck!
Hell no! Trash ass nigga. Get up! Get up!
Bruh.
Move this man!
Man, you know what? I'm tired of you! I'm tired of this shit! What more do you want from me?
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You're done. You're washed. It's over.